So, that's the things that we share with you. We've learned a lot of this stuff from these guys. And our next and final speaker, all right, then we can hit the poker table, all right? All right. No, our final speaker, Omar, man, super cool. This guy, I started watching him. He was a content creator with Think Media, Sean Cannell's company, for I'm not sure how long, but many, many years. I know he's known Sean for 10 plus years. And I was watching that channel to learn YouTube. Again, I never watched a camera equipment, tutorial because I'm not techie. I don't care to learn about cameras. As long as I can hit record on that iPhone, that's all I need to know. I'm not excited about DSLRs or whatever all that other stuff is. So I'm not interested in that. So I always skip those videos. But anytime these guys talked about YouTube or growing on YouTube, I was watching those videos. So I watched Omar as a creator on Think Media. And I don't know, I think sometime about, 2 years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago, we went to Vid Summit in Los Angeles. It was still like right after COVID. And it was funny because, we had to go get tested and we had to wear wristbands, that we were clean. And then they made us wear a mask, and it was in LA, by the way. So we were like, we got to get back to Texas as fast as possible. Oh my God. And Sean Cannell was like doing channel reviews there, like had a little table, was doing channel reviews. And I was like, hey, let me get my channel reviewed. Anyways, he introduced me to Omar. I got to meet Omar. I was like, oh, cool, Omar, cool dude. And the guy he's probably the flyest content creator I know. He's just got this look, And then 2 years ago, it was Grow with Video 2022. And we come here and we're walking through the hallway and Omar's like, he's like probably where the wall is over there. And I'm walking this way to the bathroom and Omar's like, hey, Levi, you're in my presentation. I was like, okay, cool. I was like, cool. All right. I was like, all right, thanks. Blown away. I was like, I didn't know the guy remembered me. I was like, okay, And it's really cool whenever, you look up to certain people and then I find out, he's like, no, man, I kind of look up to you guys. I admire what you're doing, how you've grown. I've been watching this journey. And then sure enough, Grow with Video, he's up there doing a presentation. He's got screenshots from our videos and stuff. And I was just like, man, super cool moment. And recently, I think in the last few months, he broke off and created the video department. Again, just kind of it's a cool company name, right? The video department. And it just matches him and his brand. And I really appreciate it. And then he has this term where he likes his videos to be crispy drippy. And I'm just like, if there's not a better phrase to describe Omar than crispy drippy. This guy is absolutely crispy drippy. And I want to introduce my good friend, Omar Eltakrori. Let's go. Get up here, man. My man. Is he in the room? Oh, here. Okay. Can you put him on? Yeah. We got his mic.
Thank you.
We got his mic. We should.
Am I on?
Yeah, I think so, brother.
I literally have 3 mics on right now. Shows how much I care about this stuff. No, I'm just. Those jeans are tight. Hey, I hope all you guys have learned so much. I think being in rooms like this and not only being in just the room, but also valuing the information at a high level. I mean, nothing's new under the sun. It says in the book of Ecclesiastes in the Bible, but the context in which we receive information is everything that matters. And by you, seeing the possibility and the potential for what this can do for your business, I just want to, clap it up for yourselves. Why don't you guys clap it up for yourselves one time? Because I truly believe that everything will shift from this moment. There is a direct correlation in your life experience and the content you produce.
Hey, you should check out my new community for free. It's where I host all of my more in-depth trainings, and you're going to get access to step-by-step courses showing you how to get buyer and seller leads for your business using passive prospecting, a supportive community of over 1,300 members, and weekly group coaching sessions you can attend and ask questions. Now, this community is all about passive prospecting and getting quality buyer and seller leads through YouTube without spending a penny on ads or cold calling. Now, the link is in the description description below, so make sure you join for free today and say hi to me when you get in the community. I look forward to seeing you there.
The better you create content, the better your content that you create gets, it will directly influence your life experience. You will have a better life experience. You know, I've been very fortunate enough to be exposed to the world of video. I've been doing video for over 15 years. And I've done it in so many different capacities. I used to be a creative director at a church. I had my own agency, and I had the opportunity to teach it online for a channel called Think Media. And I've personally amassed on my videos over 65 million views on YouTube, and they still get search volume even to this day, over 2.8 million subscribers. And I felt like in September, it was time for me to start again, just to prove that it's not luck. And so what I did is I started a podcast here in Las Vegas is where I live, and I'm, where we at, like 26 episodes in, and a couple million views on YouTube on this podcast, and I really enjoy reaching people through the conversations that I'm having on these podcasts, and it's just, it goes to show that the stuff that you've learned it's not cross your fingers and hope that this works. This is stuff that will work if you put in the work. And I just wanted to encourage you before I went into anything that the best thing that you can do as an entrepreneur, I believe right now, is build your personal brand. My friend Rory Vaden would essentially define your personal brand essentially as this. It is the digitization of your reputation. What do people think about you as a business person, as an entrepreneur, as a real estate agent or professional? What do people think of you when they think of you? Are they thinking the thing that you would want them to think? You know, I'm also a pastor. One of the pastors at my church. We helped plant a church here in Las Vegas about 6 years ago called City Light. And being in ministry is just a part of my brand. I want people to know that when they're working with me, that they know they're working with a man of God. So how do I do that? I intentionally weave in, things that are important to me, but on the things that I get to post online, and it overall creates this personal brand. Everybody knows Omar's the content guy, but they also know that he's a man of God. He loves his wife, he loves his kids, and that is the brand. I want the people who work with me to know that, because they say that your vibe attracts your tribe. And so leaning into those things that make you who you are is actually your superpower. My friend Neil Dingra, or other known as Neil Home, he'll say this. Maybe you feel a little bit of pressure on like having to stick with like your niche, like only making real estate content. I would say outside of YouTube, you can use things like the community tab, or you could use things like your Instagram, your email list to share about these 5 F's that everyone could share, right? Write these 5 F's down. Family, faith, food, fitness, and fashion. These are 5 things that some of us here, 1 out of those 5 stand out to you. My friend, his name's Steve Panate. He's a brokerage owner in Fort Worth, Texas. Just started a brokerage in July. He's been building his brand. He doesn't have a huge following, but because he has a very strong personal brand, he started his brokerage, and in less than 4 months had 50 agents sign up for his brokerage, and it was incredible. But one of his biggest emails that were opened up was his favorite restaurant in Fort Worth, Texas. Had nothing to do with real estate. And this is the opportunity that presents itself, that you become a resource for a person outside of the very thing that you would typically help them with, right? Because if you could change somebody's behavior, you got them. Like, honestly, the reason why Levi invited me to stand on his stage is because I changed his behaviors in his business from free content, and therefore it opened up a relationship, and now it built trust for him to be like, can you stand and speak to this special group of people? And this group of people he highly values. And so the funny thing about that is the information I put online just simply changed his behavior. And this is why having fun with it is one way of building your personal brand. Like, if there's something that's helping your life, share it.
Hey, real quick, if you're thinking about changing brokerages or you're brand new and you're thinking about choosing a brokerage, well, Travis and I would love to talk to you about partnering with us at EXP. You'll get access to all of our coaching, training, and courses at no cost, but mainly we want to see if we're a good fit for each other, so just check the description below and you can book a call with myself and Travis, and we look forward to speaking with you.
You know, I love these eye drops. They just, before I get to filming, I just put them in my eyes and they look really good. You know, if you want to just look your best on camera, check out these eye drops. Have nothing to do with your business, but if you're helping somebody in their life, it's just building trust. And so we all can have a personal brand that when people think about it, they just know I get so much value from it. And this is how you create a demand on your content. That like people, every time you show up, people want to hear what you have to say. They enjoy what you have to share. And I'm just saying right now, it is the most powerful thing to build your personal brand. I think this is so interesting that people like Kevin O'Leary, who's worth over $400 million, is posting YouTube videos about watches. Why would a person who has the net worth of $400 million see the value beyond the $400 million that he would want to build his brand on YouTube? Well, because it's so much more than a monetary exchange. It is, we all, I don't know if you've heard it yet up to this point, that the biggest asset that we're going for right now is attention. And those people that can catch attention or grab attention and garner it, meaning keep it, are the people that are going to be rich years from now, or even just be rich now. Like, look at the people that have really, transcended time with their brands or with their channels. It's because they've figured out a way to capture an audience and hold that audience's attention. And I think about Joanna Gaines. You know, some of us love Joanna because some of you guys are like, Kevin O'Leary, I don't care. You said Joanna, oh my goodness, I'm all in. What do you have to say? But people bought her books. People went to Target. People's behavior changed because of the brand they built. And that is a reality that we can all create for our communities. You could be the guy, you could be the girl that people think of when they think of fill in the blank. And in this case, I would say think of your city. When they think about your city and the activities going on and the resource, the things that you do to make somebody's life better living in the city that they live in, my goodness, I can't think of a cooler way to serve a community than being known for something like that. And so I just wanted to encourage you that you are in the right room. You made the right decision to invest in this new thing that I feel like I had the luxury of. I could not have called this, that like when I picked up a camera in high school 16, 17 years ago, that it would be a form of communication now. That like business owners would highly value the skills of creating videos. It actually is comical because I'm like, praise God, thank you, God. You know, it's like I didn't have to do anything different. But so much hasn't changed. The principles, they proceed whatever context that you apply them in. And just showing up, using good lighting, good audio. And I didn't want to nerd out. I could have went so many different ways with this talk, but I understand that this is the end of the day. I would love to get into some questions as I've been able to see so many, helping other agents with agency work and now coaching entrepreneurs as well. That's what I'm doing right now. And then even launching a successful podcast. But I did, before we get into Q&A, I wanted to kind of give you some encouragement going into when you go back to your cities and when you go back to work and you go and apply these things. Amen. Yeah, you're going to apply these things. But I wanted to tell you some things on why this is going to work for you. Anybody excited to hear these things? Anybody excited to go to the gambling floor? Got you. Nah, just lose money. All right, so let's talk about why this will work for you, okay? Number one, that today is the least known you'll ever be. So this train of thought where everyone's gonna see my content, everyone's gonna watch my video, everyone's gonna see my videos, it is actually false. That is not true. It actually doesn't matter how much you grow. Not everybody will ever see all of your content. So you can actually be encouraged to know that today is the least known you'll ever be. What does this mean? This means you can actually get those bad videos out of the way. This actually means that you can work on the skill. This actually means that you could test. And this is a form of marketing. I hope you know that, like, I have days where I'm like, I still don't have this thing figured out, you know, because it's like, it's marketing. It's ever evolving. And then it's like YouTube long form. And it's like, oh, dang, YouTube shorts. What, do you start a shorts channel? Do you implement shorts? And then it's like, well, what is the answer? Well, the answer is everything is beta. Everything is testing. And so if you can leave today knowing that today is the least known you'll ever be, it'll give you the permission to start messy, to make those first 10, 15, 20 videos that maybe nobody will see, but like if you do what they tell you to do as far as optimizing your videos, they should get seen. But Levi and Travis have more subscribers today than they did when they first started. Is that true? All right, so this is true. All right, cool. I'm not preaching heresy up here. Amen. Social media is not oversaturated because you're not participating. And there's a typo, which just devalues my authority completely because, no, I'm a creative, so there's my permission, I don't know. But this thinking that it is oversaturated and there's so much people, there's already people doing the same thing, your uniqueness is your edge. The way you interpret the information and the way you choose to deliver that information is actually the nuances as to why somebody would just choose to work with you. Like, honestly, you can make some of the same videos that Levi and Travis make in the same city, and just because you have a female face, you're gonna get the click on the thumbnail. Yeah, I mean, and you could copy it verbatim. Now, I would say, again, you lean into your uniqueness, though. Is there a content format that you prefer to watch more than others? You know, maybe you're like, what's a content format? So I kind of categorize them into 4 or 5 content formats. So we all have this information to share, the 15 pros and cons of living in Las Vegas, but you could package them in these 1 of 5 content formats. You could either make a talking head video where you sit in a stationary position and you deliver the content or the information. You could make a vlog, like when you go out into the field, and I love doing vlogs. I love watching vlogs because it actually re-engages the audience. You don't have to edit so heavily to keep their attention because there's so much things moving in the background, you're changing the scenery, but you can deliver a pros and cons video in the form of a vlog. You could deliver a pros and cons video in the form of a video podcast where maybe you and your spouse deliver this conversation because there's going to be a lot of spouses that are going to live in an area. And so you can create a dynamic delivery of this idea with the form of a video podcast. The next thing you could do is a live stream. How about, like, let's remove the concept of editing altogether. Maybe create a slide deck presentation and then just go live into YouTube, deliver the slide deck, and then be done. Don't have to hire an editor. Don't have to do anything after the fact. The job is done. And then the last one would be faceless. This would be where you would maybe utilize an editor who would use, I'd say I'm always so hesitant to use like industry terminology, but B-roll or supplemental footage. So if you go out and you record 15, 20-second clips on your smartphone and you compile a whole bunch of footage, you could actually create a video without your face on it and just have a voiceover, you know, and maybe it ends with you and you say, hey, if you want to work together, whatever. But those are the 5 ways that you can literally deliver the same kind of information, but use one of these 5 content formats is what I like to call it. I always use the illustration of like Mexican food. I usually start that, delivery by like, who here likes Mexican food? And usually it's 95% of the room. I don't know why about Mexican food. We all like Mexican food. But what's funny about Mexican food is it's usually all the same. It's just plated differently. So the Mexicans are like, gotcha. But this is the same idea or the same concept, It's really information just plated differently. The next thing I want you to hear is that you need this and they do too. And I believe sometimes we don't think about the they too much. The they is the people that have yet to meet you. that they're waiting for somebody to deliver the information in the way you would do it. The they is your family. They is your kids. They is your legacy, your babies. And the skill of creating content, as like weird as it may be, because it seems like all the young people are killing it with that. You have no idea the advantage you have because of your experience and your age. Honestly, like one of my favorite things to see are people in their 2.0 era of life create content. Because if you took a Gen Z and a baby boomer and they both started from day zero, the baby boomer has an advantage. Why do you say that, Omar? I say that because they have life experience. They actually have something to offer. Sorry, Gen Z. No, I'm just kidding. And whether that's like, what you've learned in marriage, what you've learned being a parent, what you've learned being in real estate for 15 years, like imagine like somebody who just gets their license. I mean, it might be actually frustrating because like these young guns who get their license right away and make really cool content, and you're like, man, like, but what's so cool is they don't have what you have, which is just experience. Like, if I'm gonna spend a lot of money, I'm probably not gonna work with some guy that just looks like a teenager. I don't know, But I just wanted to like the action of creating videos, I believe, is the greatest action or activity you can implement in your business. And why do I say that? Because there is no other activity that can multiply your time like content. And so when people say I'm too busy to make videos, I don't have the time to create the content, I would argue that you have a bad perception of time. Because if I understood how time really worked, I would know that I am limited by time. So the best thing that I can actually do is plan, prepare, and create videos. Because once I create that video, it's like somebody goes to work for me. The next thing I wanted to encourage you with is that you are a content creator already. When somebody says, hey, I'm really interested in potentially buying or listing my home, you probably set an appointment. You set an appointment, and on that appointment, you talk about the same thing that you talked about at your last appointment. Every time. There's your script. There's your mini course. There's your pinned video on your Instagram. Like the top 5 questions that every first-time homebuyer asks. This is for the people. So now when we meet for coffee, we're starting at level 7 and not level 0. It's not just using videos to get cold leads or like people to find you. It's also using video to multiply your time. Hey, let's go. I would love to meet for coffee. If you could, before we meet, check out these 3 videos where I break down the process, and so that we can actually get more accomplished in our conversation. You can use video in this already. And so when I say that you're a content creator already, you already answer questions. You already have concepts. You already rebuttal, people who feel like they couldn't afford a home because they have, too bad of credit score, or maybe they messed up something financially, and you're able to help them. And so there's so much in you already. You don't have to go get it. It's there. Another thing I like to talk about is this concept of rather than creating content, you can also be the content. So I understand that making YouTube videos is probably the most daunting version for most people of making kinds of videos. But the least daunting way of making videos is literally setting up your phone before this coffee date or this Zoom call, interaction you're gonna have, and just record yourself do you. Just for 10 to 15 seconds. And then you can upload that to your stories on Instagram, or you can upload that as a reel and use trending audio and just say on screen in text. You don't even have to talk. You just literally say 5 home buying tips for people looking to live in the city or whatever. So I just want that is a frame of mind that I feel like a lot of times it unlocks people's creativity, like, oh, you're right. And I don't know how much people here actually work with somebody else, or there's somebody in the office. One of the biggest life hacks to make you look really cool is to just have them film you do something. Like, it's so funny. Like I have my video guy, his name's Art, And I'm not the kind of guy that writes up job descriptions and like, KPIs and stuff. Sorry, I'm a creative, okay? I was like, here's your job description, bro. Make me look cool. That's your job. If I look cool, bro, you're doing your job. So even though I'm boarding this Southwest flight in a small airport, so they caused us to board on it outside and not through a normal tarmac or whatever, it's gonna look like I'm getting in a private jet, bro. That's what I'm saying. So here's my phone, put it on the wide angle lens, and I'm just gonna walk into this Southwest flight, and then I'm not gonna show you pick my seat because you don't need to know that process. But dude, you post that on your stories and you throw a cool little hip hop beat on that, people are like, dang, this person's doing things, dude. And honestly, we live in a world where how you're perceived is everything. I'm sorry. So like, it is not about who's best, because most of the time I talk to rooms, I'm like, hey, who here believes that they are really good at what they do? And I would ask this room, who here believes that they're really good at what they do? Like, I'm just pretty good. Like, I hope everybody believes this way. But it's okay. It's the end of the day. Somebody raised their hand. They literally mid-yawn raise their hands. Like, I'm going to get off the stage in 3 minutes. Hold on. No, but the reality is this. It's not who's best. It's a game of who's best known. So you need to increase the volume of your posting on platforms like Instagram. And why do I keep going back to Instagram? Because honestly, Instagram is where all the millennials are that have money. That's just, it's just the truth. So like, just by people who follow you in your world. And I've helped a lot of real estate professionals as well. And they found that their YouTube efforts get a lot of buyers, but their Instagram efforts gets a lot of sellers. And so you still want to leverage both platforms, but you're already a content creator. You're already creating content. It's just not being captured. You headed to Vegas and you're in a high level, like everyone after you get dismissed today needs to go outside and just talk to your phone and say, I just spent the last 3 days here in Las Vegas really learning about the best marketing principles here in my business, and I'm so excited to scale. I'm excited for you guys to see the journey, but I just want to encourage you, invest in yourself. It'll always be worth it. And then post it on your stories. That didn't take much. Yeah.
And tag Levi.
And tag Levi.
Tag Levi.
Yeah, and say their name. And then create an affiliate program so that you can get 50% and then get this all paid for. The next thing is that all work works. Omar, I've made 10 videos and I got no views on them. Like, Omar, I'm 20 videos in, I still don't get it. Here's the thing I've learned about work, and I've learned this from my business coach. His name's Myron Golden. He says, all work works. And the work either works on you or it works for you. And if you fail to believe that work either works on you or for you, it'll always feel like work is working against you. And so you could actually feel like your efforts are being wasted. But if you know that all work works, then that it's either working for you or it's working on you. And we need both. This is why we're here. We're getting worked on. Like we're working on ourselves. And then you're going to put in the stuff and it might not pop off right away, but you're going to learn why it didn't pop off. Like it is impossible to actually feel like you figured out this thing and then you're going to go and make these videos. You actually figure it out as you go. That's the only way to actually learn. And the only way to do it right is to just do it. So it levels the playing field, honestly. Even if people aren't in this room, it levels the playing field. Because we all in some aspects start from zero. Like we all start from zero. And the principles, they transcend, whatever context you apply them in. So when you learn the best practices and the principles, it should accelerate your success, but there's no way skipping to it. When I started my podcast, which was like a funny thing. Like, all right, I'm gonna start a podcast and I'm gonna do this thing till Jesus comes back. That was kind of my business plan, So I had a very long time horizon. I didn't care if it didn't get a lot of views, okay, maybe that's a false statement. Like, I wasn't as concerned as most people would be that it wouldn't get a lot of views. And little did I know that episode 10 had no idea. I did an episode with this lady, marketing genius. Her name's Chalene Johnson, and we talked about how to build your personal brand from scratch. And that video just went up and up and up and up, and I think right now it's at 100,000. Then I uploaded my next podcast, and it's like another 100,000. I'm like, what the heck is happening? And in all honesty, I had a really good 2 to 3 months, and then it kind of like came down a little bit, and I'm okay with that, because like my time horizon is just long. I'm not gonna be like, hey, I don't know how much people here like, I'm gonna give this YouTube thing a shot for a short amount of time, or like if it doesn't work, I'm moving on to the next thing. That's when we talk about building a brand, there's no such thing as building a brand overnight. The reason why some of us wear these fancy watches is not because they started yesterday and made a watch and put it out there. No, it's because they created a brand where there's a feeling when you click this Rolly, bro. Like, honestly, like, I feel like a man. Like, I don't know what it is. So I didn't buy a watch. You know, I bought a brand. You know what I'm saying? And that is built over time. And so I just encourage you to just keep it consistent. And there's no way to there's no way to skip the action of actually doing it. By the way, did you know that that's wisdom? Like, wisdom is the application of the knowledge. That's why the Bible says like knowledge puffs up, meaning like you can retain all this information in here and it puffs up. It means nothing. It has no value. But wisdom, the Bible says like you get wisdom. You get it, meaning like it's an action. Like you got to apply the thing you learn, and then it turns into wisdom because you actually applied it, not because you got it. Does that make sense? Wow, look at this. And then I mentioned this, I'll breeze through it, but your uniqueness is your authority. You have the permission to be you. It will take some time to get really comfortable on camera, because I would argue people who think they're really good on camera aren't comfortable on camera because they got to go, hello everybody, here I am with living in Dallas. You know, I'm just kidding. But people take a second and they put on this actor creator mode, this professional, and it's not you, you know? Like, just be you. Like, all of what you are. Like, coffee stain on my shirt, dang it. I'm making this video, even with this coffee stain. By the way, this coffee stain is brought to you by Vesta Coffee, one of my favorite coffee shops here in Las Vegas Valley. If you didn't know where to get some good coffee, if you love third wave coffee and small batch roasted beans. As you can tell, I like coffee. So your uniqueness is your authority. It honestly is your superpower. It is why it's never crowded. This is why I don't believe in competition, honestly. Because if you really lean into who you are, you're like, the saying is you're really competing with yourself. You're not competing with others, you know? So your uniqueness is your authority. I saw somebody taking a picture, and I think that ended this line. I think that was it. And this is why it's gonna work. Did you get something today?
Yes!
Awesome. All right. Well, I would love to answer, if we got time, like answer some questions.
Come up, please.
Yes,
Yeah,
come on.
all right.
Bro, this is your event. You can do whatever you want, dude.
Thank you for.
You can kick me off this stage, bro.
Oh, I'm gonna grab this chair and this one right. Yeah, grab that chair. This is my event. You grab that chair, Omar. You pull that thing up here. Get your own chair. Let's sit down, man. Thank you so much. That was amazing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you a question or two, and then I want to turn it over to the audience. So start thinking about your questions. I'm prepping you now. All right. So. And the mic, if we can get a mic somewhere close in the vicinity of people, yes. All right. So, you know that we've been here for 2.5 weeks now, and we said, hey, let's go to church as well while we're here. And we go to City Light. Well, apparently that's the content creators church right there. I mean, there's Omar and Pineda and I guess apparently all the video. I mean, I saw Brandon there, the whole video crew. I mean, so everyone it's a cool spot. Anyways, the first Sunday we went, the pastor, which I mean I've never been there before, but Omar set in, was the guest pastor that day, and crushed it. I mean, did a great job. But you told a story about, because you were in the military as well.
Yeah.
You told a story about land nav,
Yeah.
which I thought was very impactful, especially because you associated being lost, which was kind of the theme of that that sermon that day. So do you mind kind of sharing that too? Because sometimes, even despite everything I think that people have learned so far, sometimes they may still feel a little lost. So could you tell the land nav story and then kind of just tie that in?
Yeah, I did 7 years as an Army officer here in the Nevada Army National Guard. And prior to that, you do this program called ROTC, and I did that through UNLV. And so went through that whole program, and after year 3, they send you to like this 30-day camp where you're like disconnected from humanity, and like you have to write letters to your loved ones, and you don't have electricity and all that stuff. And you just put everything you learn to the test. And one of the core skills they teach you, if you're familiar with military or anything, is they teach you how to find points like on a map, other known as land navigation. It's a skill you learn at basic training, but we were graded on this, and we did it both in the daytime, but then we also did it once the sun went down and the moon was out. We did it at nighttime, and where the moon was like your only source of light. This is when I knew I was a city boy. I wasn't made for this. And so the premise that I shared was kind of this this idea per se, is that I had a map, right? Like I had the map that told me where the points were on the map. I had a compass that showed me where north was, and I even had the context of the camp and the cadre, or the people that were instructing us. And I was also alongside with like other cadets, So.
And you also had steps, right? You knew pacing,
yes,
right?
Pacing.
You know how to measure
so
your steps.
Yeah, every 100 meters was like 103 steps. So every 103 steps, I did 100 meters. So then you're like counting as you're going, and I realized that even though I got my first few points, like time was running out, but I found myself lost, and I thought it was hindsight looking back at that whole situation, that even though I did have all the tools and I was in the context, I was in the right community, I had everything that I had to my ability to be successful and to not be lost, and yet I still got lost. And I think in the same way, this could happen in a context like this, where you have the access to the calls, you have the access to the curriculum, to the community, you have essentially the map guide, but yet you may still find yourself lost. I think the question that you can ask yourself is maybe, what do you do when that happens, Unfortunately, I couldn't ask a cadet where am I at, because then they were cheating, and if you get caught, they send you back home and you can never become an officer, so that's the ramifications. But actually, your ability to cheat here is actually wide open, that you could use each other to cheat, right? And that's why I love community, man. I love the power of community, and I love putting yourself in a room, even if it's virtual for most of the year, but there's those times we get together, but being a part of a group of people that value the goal that we're all trying to go for, dude, it's crazy the camaraderie that can take place from that. Yeah.
That's amazing. And what of these relationships, I mean, just from creating content, what type of relationships or opportunities? I mean, can you even...
It's so hard to put into words. Like,
exactly.
They say that people buy things for 3 reasons. It's going to better their health, their wealth, or their relationships. Like, those are the 3 reasons why people buy. So as people who like sell education or information, we have to package what it is we sell in one of those categories, right? And for somebody that helps entrepreneurs build their personal brands, I honestly feel like by building your personal brand, it affects your wealth, because opportunity just presents itself. When people know you, you get to stand on stages and speak to awesome people and share this awesome life experience. And so it does affect your wealth. But like the relationship thing, I think I'm a very relational guy. I actually have the word "and" tattooed on my wrist, because my youth pastor when I was growing up taught me this. Kind of like his thesis of life was that anybody who accomplished anything significant in Scripture was connected to somebody else. It was Jesus and the disciples. It was Mary and Martha. It was Paul and Timothy. Fill in the blank. Like anyone who did anything significant, they didn't do it by themselves. And when you actually like become as much as for whatever it is, when people just know you for a good thing, And this is what the opportunity that presents itself, that we could be known for a good thing, like helping people live where they live better. Like that affects your wealth, that affects your relationships, because it's just better, right? But yeah, it's so hard to put a dollar amount on that, you know. And like I joined a mastermind. It was $55,000. It was my very first mastermind I ever joined. I never bought a $1,000 course. I never bought a $10 course.
You just jumped straight into it.
My first
You just went all in.
it was a $55,000 mastermind, and so many people are like, you know, is it worth it, you know? And I mean, it has revolutionized my life more ways than I could even imagine. Of course, by putting in the work, I was able to make that money back, and now I have the skills of what it took to make the money. But like these relationships that are like, I mean, I would say for as long as I'm in business, or I mean, even beyond business, like even the regular text messages I get on a regular basis are insane. Like I'm not an 8-figure entrepreneur. I haven't sold my company for 9 figures and stuff, but those kind of people, they text me all the time. It's awkward, but it's literally because of my content. There is a perceived value on people who are willing to put in that kind of work and show up digitally consistently. Now, I'm not saying it's not gonna override your lack of commitment in life if you're missing coffee dates or whatever. But there is a correlation that people see you every day when they open up their phones. It just shows that you're a man and woman of your word, and you show up.
Amazing. I think I'm learning. No, never mind. All right, so do we have any questions all right, Jenny, microphone. Hey, Tony, thank you. Over there.
Everybody's kind of already answered this question a little bit, but so we were told to post why we were here today and, you know, make a video about it. So my question is, why would anybody care? Like, why would my audience care that I was at a conference that taught how to do video?
Right.
So, because I've been to many real estate summits and conferences, like Tom Ferry, big things like that as well. I don't post about it.
Yeah.
So, but then I was talking to somebody in the elevator about that, and I was like, well, if my chiropractor was at this conference and was like, I learned about these new adjustments, I'd be like, cool. Exactly. I'm going to keep going to her because she's learning. She's continuing to learn. So that kind of answered my own question, but yeah, I still have that question. Do people really care, or is it just I'm posting to post and make content, or am I posting to show people that I'm still learning how to, further my business or help clients?
Yeah, I think, I believe by you posting a video on why you came here, people aren't gonna care that you came here, but they're gonna see that you care about your craft. And I believe one of the number one ingredients for success for entrepreneurs is obsession or care. Like, people feel that. People feel, like you just said, if your chiropractor was doing those things, it would make you more confident to work with them or to be one of their clients still, because out of everybody else, it just, for some reason, they just take it more serious. It just looks like they care. So, no, do people care about the coffee that you're drinking this morning by you posting your coffee and your Bible scripture, No, but they care to see that you care about your own personal self-development. So I believe that's the psychology that you're communicating by talking about what it is you're doing, and then showing that you are just, I would say, like, I think the lack of better term is just legit. You could be seen today on social media, or you could be unseen. I'm assuming everybody here, let's just choose to be seen. Okay, so in the event of me being seen, what could I share or post today that's not gonna take too much from me, right? So before I even came here, before I came up these 10 hallway zigzags for me to get here, No, I just popped outside, and I just really quickly, I'm here at the M, and I'm so excited because I'm going to be speaking at a high-level mastermind for real estate professionals. So nobody cares that I'm speaking, but people see like, oh, Omar, you speak at masterminds. Maybe I'll invite him to speak at our mastermind. More than that, it's just, I had 15 minutes to spare. I'm just going to shoot it real quick, So I think that I'll end this answer with this. You're communicating what you're not communicating. It is the subtlety in the showing up consistently that over time communicates that you're serious about your craft.
And it's works.
Yes.
I mean, that
Yeah.
so the next time you leave a house, if you've practiced this a few times, and next time you leave a house, are you more likely to say, I was actually just showing this house, and I noticed some things that you got to keep an eye out that before you purchase your next home, which is this, and this. And once that becomes muscle memory, which was what we talk about, which is why I talk about doing more videos in the beginning versus later, not, then what you're doing is you're just creating that muscle memory, right? You're getting in the habit. You're creating that comfortability on there too. So if you want some, and also, if you say, hey, I got a little tweak in my neck, and your husband says, oh, I can crack that for you. I mean, people value people who are skilled and trained at what they do as well, right? Mm-hmm. You're just like, I got a chiropractor, before you go ripping my neck around, I got it, So that's something else as well. I think that you can think about. It's just the repetition. It's the comfortability. Plus, this is an opportunity where open houses. We hear a lot of agents complain about open houses. And there's no traffic or something like that. Well, first of all, that was bad marketing in the first place if you got no traffic. But second of all, okay, you're sitting in a house for 2 hours. What if you went into the bedroom and made a couple of pieces of content? What if you went in the kitchen and made a couple of pieces of content? What if you went in the living room and made a couple of pieces of content? What if you toured the whole property, on a long-form video tour while you're there? So you could do so much in that time period as well. So again, but you're only going to be comfortable doing that if you continue to practice doing those things.
And I like something that you mentioned, that because at some point what actually happens is you start understanding what other people care about.
Yeah.
So the way I process my open house that nobody's showing up to, and like how I'm going to use this to create content, I think people care about personally interior design. So there might be a dark dated kitchen, and then because you understand that, you can leverage what people care about to your advantage and be like, hey, are you a dark kitchen person or a white kitchen person? I'm seeing dark kitchens kind of come in, just by and then people are like, dude, white all day, whatever, and it just starts conversations, and so that I love that you said that. Just like if you get better at caring about, this is a sales skill, by the way. Like when you get better at sales, you start understanding like where people are coming from before they even come, because you've helped enough people. So caring about what they care about also is the other thing, 'Cause, like, what's something people care about Las Vegas? Like maybe they care about off-strip resorts. Like I'm staying at this resort here at the M, and it's kind of like 10 minutes from the strip, but it's actually pretty tranquil here. You'd be surprised. Then you're changing somebody's behavior when they come to Las Vegas. Like I remember when she posted like this, dude, what was that? And then they go back to you, and like that's what we're doing,
I saw another question.
Can I add to that real quick?
Yep.
Actually, just real quick on that point.
Microphone.
I have one already.
Oh, okay.
So real quick, I don't want to beat a dead horse on this, but I want you to understand you're not talking to everybody when you're posting on social media too, right? Yeah. You're posting to the right body. Right, you want to talk to that one person who actually really does care. So I'll give you a quick example. I'm working with a lady right now. She's buying a $1.6 million house. She's about to come in town. She's an entrepreneur, and she loves the fact that me and Levi are here right now helping other real estate agents from all around the world learn how to better their business. And the fact, because I tell all of my clients, hey, I'm much more than a real estate agent. Like we help other real estate agents change their lives, for their families and help them accomplish and be able to help people like we help you. And so these people actually, they love it. And so I talk to a lot of my buyers and sellers, and I tell them what we do, and they respect me even more because they know that I'm not just here for the money. I'm out here investing my money. I'm investing my time. I'm trying to get better, and I'm learning from people who are better than me always. That's why we're constantly having people that we invest in, right? And so don't worry about what the few people are going to think when you're posting on your social media. Just don't overthink it, right? Just you want to get out there, you want to get practice, you want to get the repetitions, and you just want to let people know what you're doing, and it doesn't always have to be work related. Like this is work related, but it's like a lifestyle type of thing too, right? If you were to put a little short video together or just like do something quick by yourself, you know, you traveled all the way over here, you're staying in a nice hotel, we're gonna go out and have a good time, we've been having lunch, we've been learning all these different things. Like that's just a quick 15-second reel or a 30-second reel or some story that you can tell and share with people, but they're gonna love you even more for it since you're working on your business, because most real estate agents, they don't do that. You know what I mean? They're just flying by the seat of the pants. That's why 87% of real estate agents fail in the first couple of years. So you're really setting yourself above everybody else when you're working on your own business. So don't worry about what anyone else thinks. You just keep doing you and let everyone know what you're doing.
Boom.
$100K.
I'm going to add a little bit to that and say maybe this isn't something you guys would say about yourselves, but earlier when Ryan and Justin both mentioned doing these kind of videos, all of a sudden it hit me. I was like, duh, why wouldn't we say that we were here and tag you guys? I mean, you guys are like hot, young, cool influencers. I mean, you guys are like the shit. Why wouldn't we tag and be like, we were here, we were learning from these guys, and drop all your names? I mean, that is huge.
Yeah.
That just occurred to me. I'm like,
You
yeah.
tap into our audience as well. I
Right.
mean, that's the whole point of it.
Yeah,
You know? I'll
to
be
let that
tagging
go and be
Omar
like, I
after
can't
this.
wait to get out to the pool and film. So,
Yeah.
and then a question is, and this might be silly, but just a quick one. You mentioned that you're finding maybe sellers on Instagram, and I just wondered, like, why that is, or why
Yeah.
you mentioned we're finding, or we could find millennial sellers on Instagram.
It was a theory that somebody in my community noticed. She was very consistent with YouTube, and she's also consistent with Instagram. And the reason that she felt most of her seller business came from Instagram was because most of the time your local circle and the circle around that local circle follow you on Instagram.
Okay.
And by you showing up consistently on Instagram, people talk, you know?
Yep.
And so as somebody who too is involved in like ministry, like my wife got her license maybe a couple years ago, and she doesn't even promote it. Like my wife doesn't even use social media, even though I like at first I'm like, babe, I'm Omar Eltakrori, you have to post videos. You know? But you know, like she honestly struggled through a lot of the things that I help people struggle through, which is like the imposter syndrome and all that stuff. And I just said, just start posting things you love doing with Ruby here in Las Vegas. You're already going out to Home Depot on the first Saturday of every month to do the free craft that nobody knows about, apparently. You know, you go to the Springs Preserve and you bought a season pass and you got to see the butterflies and all that stuff. But Amanda's circle has been the people that reached out to her because she's involved, and so that would be the reason why you get more sellers on Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Any other over here?
Yeah, I was just wondering, because I like the mindset that you have about like building the brand, like being consistent and all that. So my question is maybe twofold, but like who are some mentors that you look up to that help you develop that kind of mindset just so that you're strong in that? And then secondly, like any books that you would recommend just to also, you know,
Passive prospecting.
I like
Next question. No.
Thank you.
I think there's 3 books that I think I actually gift people who join my thing. And the 3 books that I gift them is Key Person of Influence by Daniel Priestley, I believe, but Key Person of Influence. Very easy read, but so enlightening because he's talking about like he couldn't have written that book 15 years ago. It's like a today book. Exactly What to Say by Phil Jones. It's a sales book, but very easy read, literally under an hour. And then
Passive prospecting.
And then Passive Prospecting. And then 16 Laws of Communication by John Maxwell.
So
Yeah.
you mean 4 books?
So and then Passive Prospecting.
Okay.
Did they not get it as a gift? They should have all got 3
Yeah,
copies.
but you said you give people. I'm saying you should have 4 books that you get.
First one again.
Key person of influence. And then, you know, honestly, as far as people that inspire me, I think the thing, rather than giving you just like names off the get-go, it's who I consume. But I don't just consume them with what do you call it, like brain dead. I don't consume them brain dead. I consume them actively. So like one of my favorite content creators is a 63-year-old content creator. His name is Myron Golden, and he teaches from a vibe board. All his YouTube videos, they're never out and about. He has a studio. He invites people to come in his studio because he wants to talk to people, and then the cameras are on. And then he's grown 600,000 subscribers in 2 years, just teaching principles. Right now I'm watching a lot of like YouTube golf because I just enjoy it. But it's teaching me that the vlog style, just having a camera on doing something, is a really cool play that people will just leave it on. Like, I think everyone here can have at least a few videos on their channel that are like leave on in the office type videos. They could be 2 hours long, and you don't have to talk for 2 hours. You could just literally walk downtown, and it's just like, and then the video is 4K Insta 360 footage of downtown Sacramento, and then but I would just say there's people that you're attracted to, and you're more likely to create content very similar to them, better, than you trying to do something that's outside of something you're not used to watching. So like, some people here love video podcasting. Like if you're a heavy podcast consumer, I would consider you might be great at having a podcast. And maybe it's not even video. Maybe it's literally just an audio podcast you record on your phone, and you just share something every week, and then you email it out to your database. But yeah, one of my favorite things to tell people is just to go into your YouTube history tab and ask yourself, why did I click on these videos? What about this thumbnail made me attracted to it? What about this topic really made me want to watch it? And I don't know where you're at. You said you were watching YouTube to learn YouTube. I actually think it's really hard to crush it at YouTube without being a consumer of it. Because I don't believe YouTube is a video platform. I believe YouTube is a packaging platform. And the person who knows how to package the information best wins.
That's good.
Thank you.
I don't have my phone or my watch. It died, so I don't know what time we're at.
5:10.
5:10. Okay.
One more question?
One more question. Let's do one more questions, or one more? Right here?
Yeah. No, no, man. They lost their opportunity.
And this might apply to someone else in the room as well, but so my husband's also a realtor. We do this together. He's
Nice.
the one at home working. And I always keep saying, if he was putting out as much content as I was on social media, it's like doubling down on our, it's 2 for the price of 1. Mm-hmm. So do you agree with that? Like, should we both be on our, own Instagrams or whatever, putting out as much content as possible, or just keep it, because I'm like the face of the business. He does all the back end work. So
I think that's the answer. Yeah, if you're the face,
just
then
keep
just
it that
keep
way.
It you, yeah.
Okay. Okay,
Cool.
I'm sure
he can film you.
Look, and that
He can
does.
film you
He
walk
does all the
onto
YouTube.
Southwest Plains.
Yeah, he does all the YouTube filming. Yep.
Oh, that's awesome. Amazing. Awesome.
Well, yeah, Omar, thank you so much.
Hey, guys, I
for hanging-
appreciate you. Thank you
Let's
so
give
much for
Omar a big round of applause. You got a jet? You hang out for a few minutes? Or?
Whatever you got, dude.
Okay.
I'm yours.
All right. Well, thank you so much, man. Appreciate
right.
you.
Yeah.
All right, give Omar a big
give
round
it
of
up for
applause.
yourself. Let's go.
Yeah, because,